Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mental Edge Trading Psychology Podcast. I'm Sarah, a retired therapist turned trader, and today we are answering a question I get asked more than any other, and that is why can I trade perfectly on demo, but the second I switch to a live account, everything falls apart? And I'm going to start with one of my most embarrassing trading stories. It was the first time I activated a live account after crushing it on demo, and by the time I went to go activate it, I completely froze, okay? Because I was trading perfectly on demo. I followed every rule, hit my target with room to spare, I knew my strategy inside out, I was ready to go, and then I switched to a live account and I sat there staring at the charts like I had never seen them before. My heart was pounding out of my chest, my hands were shaking, everything I was looking at on the charts felt like a trap, and I was so terrified to be wrong, terrified to take a loss, terrified that this account would prove that I actually wasn't capable of trading the way I thought I was. So instead of following my plan, instead of taking the simple setups that met my criteria, I literally closed my eyes and went all in on one single option trade. I full ported my entire account on one option trade with my eyes closed. I didn't analyze it. I didn't check my risk. I just needed to do something to make the pressure stop. And I doubled the account in a matter of minutes. I had no idea what I was doing. And then the next day I came back and I blew everything, all of it gone, what I'd made the day before and the entire account on top of it. And here's the worst part about it all, guys, is I used to be a therapist, right? I have a master's in social work and I specialized in trauma and nervous system regulation. And if I, somebody who spent literally years studying how the brain responds to stress, couldn't think my way through this, then motivation and willpower weren't going to help anybody. You need tools, okay? Real ones, the ones that work with your biology instead of against it. And this hustle mentality post on social media, this discipline over dopamine, that's not going to help anybody, okay? So today we're diving deep into why demo success doesn't translate into live trading, what changes in your brain and body the moment the money becomes real for you, and most importantly, what to do about it to not let it control you. Because I never want you to feel the way I felt that day, frozen, panicked, watching yourself sabotaging everything you worked so hard for and being completely powerless to stop it. This is not going to be your typical motivational podcast episode, okay? This is a very practical one. Today, we're going to be building some actual skills to help you with the transition from demo to live. So grab something to take notes with and let's go ahead and get started. So first, let's look at the biology of what happens when you switch from demo to live. So the reason why you trade well on demo but fail on live, most people tend to think that's a strategy issue. It actually has nothing to do with your strategy. It actually has everything to do with how your nervous system interprets the two environments. Okay, so let me explain what's actually happening. When you're trading demo, your brain is operating in what I call a pursuit mode, okay? Pursuit mode is characterized by forward-focused energy, meaning your dopamine is rising because you're moving towards a goal. You're proving to yourself that you can do this, and you're building evidence that your strategy works for you, okay? Your nervous system is calm during this time because there's really nothing to protect, okay? Nothing's at stake. Demo money has no emotional value, so your brain doesn't assign threat to losing fake dollars, and your logical thinking brain can stay in control. So you can take those pullbacks in stride. You can wait for your setups without the urgency. You can let your plan play out exactly how you thought it would because your nervous system is regulated. This doesn't mean you are more disciplined on a demo account. Demo accounts do not build discipline. The only thing demo accounts are good for is mastering your strategy without emotion to eliminate confusion, okay? Because the nervous system is regulated during this time and your threat detection isn't activated. When your threat detection isn't activated, your body isn't going to be sending you alarm signals, and your logical thinking brain, the part of your brain that is responsible for your discipline and your rules, has full access to all of its resources. But the second you switch to a live account, that logical thinking brain gets shut down, okay? So what I'm saying by this is you are literally operating from a different biological state from a demo account to a live account. And the second you switch to live trading, everything is going to change. Your brain is going to shift from pursuit mode into protection mode. And protection mode is a completely different operating system for the brain, okay? Now there's something at stake. Now you have something to lose. And the brain starts interpreting the account as mine. And anything your brain labels as mine gets assigned emotional value. And that emotional value is going to trigger your threat detection circuits, okay? And the charts, they may look the exact same way as they did on demo, but because your biology was built to protect the things that feel important to you, now you're going to start sabotaging, you're going to freeze, your emotions are going to take over, your threat detection is going to become activated. So the same trade that felt effortless on demo is going to now activate your amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, and it can't tell the difference between a tiger chasing you and you risking money. All it knows is something valuable is at risk and we need to protect this. So it's going to end up triggering what's called your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight response. This is going to cause your heart rate to increase, your breathing to get faster and shallower, your muscles are going to tense, your blood flow is going to shift away from your logical thinking and toward your threat response, okay? You are literally going into survival mode when this happens. This is why you literally cannot think clearly on live like you can on demo, because your body has taken over your mind. This is because money is our number one survival resource, and when that survival resource feels threatened, what happens is that our body is going to go into survival mode to protect it, okay? It wants to make sure it can keep it safe, because if we lose a survival resource, that means to the brain, our life is potentially threatened. It does not know the fact that you have allocated this money for your trading. It does not know that it is okay to lose this money. You are okay with that. All it knows is that, hey, I'm about to lose this money. I worked really hard for it. If I don't have this money, I might not be able to pay my rent. I might not be able to eat. I might not be able to pay my bills, whatever it may be. It's not like building a business or going to the gym where you put in the effort and you know what the reward's going to be, okay? It's not like that. This is because money is tied to our survival. And when something is tied to our survival, our brain cannot treat it the same way as working towards other goals that we have. This is why trading is so much harder, but we keep going into it with a build a business or go to the gym mentality, and it doesn't work that way. We need to switch our mentality, okay? We need to switch to learning how to work with our biology instead of against it, okay? And then there's another piece that nobody talks about. What happens is there's a chemical shift that happens when you switch from demo to live trading, okay? And dopamine doesn't peak when you activate your live account. It peaks during the pursuit of getting to the point of, okay, I'm going to trade live now. Okay, I'm going to trade this funded account now, whatever it may be. And all the way through your demo trading, your funded challenge trading, your dopamine was rising, okay? You were getting closer and closer to your goal. You were building that confidence. You were moving forward. But the second you activate the account, dopamine drops sharply, okay? And that drop feels like emotional vulnerability, insecurity, like something's wrong, even though nothing actually changed. And you worked so hard to get here, and now that you're here, you feel worse than you did before. You feel the anxiety start looming. You're terrified to enter your trades. That emotional urge becomes so intense that you don't know what to do except give into it. And now you're operating from a depleted dopamine state. Your threat detection is on high alert, and your body becomes hypersensitive to every internal sensation you have. And this is a concept called interoception. This is your brain's ability to read signals from inside your body. And under pressure, that system becomes overactive because this is your body's way of protecting you, okay? So now you're going to experience changes in your breathing, your heart rate, your muscle tension. All of that is going to get amplified to a super high level that we are not used to. So now all of a sudden these neutral pullbacks that we experience in our plan, that feels really threatening. The sideways movement's going to feel really hostile, and your stomach's going to drop when you move your cursor towards that buy button, even though nothing dangerous is happening on the chart. You logically know how to trade. You're not afraid of trading, but your body is reacting to the meaning before your mind even understands what's happening on the charts, okay? And you start interpreting your own nervous system as part of the market environment. And this is why the same trade that felt easy on demo feels impossible on live account, not because the trade has changed, but because you changed. Your internal state is now completely different. And now that we understand that, let's look at the 3 patterns that destroy live accounts, okay? Once you understand that your nervous system is operating differently on live, you can start to see the patterns that destroy your accounts that you fall into, okay? These aren't dramatic blowups. These are quiet, subtle shifts that happen underneath of your awareness, okay? The first pattern is the need to prove something. But the second your account becomes real, trading stops feeling like a process and starts feeling like a performance. So now you're no longer able to let your edge unfold in your trade play out. You're instead trying to demonstrate to yourself that you can do this. And when trading becomes a test of your worth, curiosity collapses, okay? Curiosity is required for high quality execution. Without it, the charts stop being information and start becoming a scoreboard for yourself. And once you're reading a scoreboard, you're not interacting with the markets anymore. You're interacting with your own fear. So on demo, you could look at a losing trade and think, interesting, what can I learn from this? But on live, you look at a losing trade and you think, I'm failing, I can't do this. What is wrong with me? It's the same trade on both charts, but it holds a different meaning. And this is what made me close my eyes when I went all in on that options trade I told you about earlier. I wasn't trying to make money on that trade. I was just trying to prove to myself that I wasn't a failure, that I could do this, okay? The second pattern is going to be emotional overmanagement. So on a demo account, you can set your stop loss and walk away without a problem because you trust your plan. You know it logically inside and out, and you know it's going to do what it's going to do, so you can trust it and walk away. But on live, especially after your first win, something really subtle happens, and you subconsciously tighten your grip. But now you don't even realize that you're watching candles more closely, taking profits early, tightening your stops to play it safe, because none of these choices feel wrong in the moment while you're trading like that, okay? They feel responsible, like you're protecting your edge, you're doing the right thing in your trading, but what's actually happening is you've lost trust in your own decisions and you're treating uncertainty like danger. And when danger is sensed by your nervous system, it's going to go into overdrive and never get a break. So even 20 minutes of watching every candle tick is enough to push you out of the mental state where you make good decisions. And when that happens, you end up second guessing everything and forcing your setups. So on demo, yeah, you can let your trades breathe, but on live, you end up suffocating them to try and protect yourself, not your trading. And the third pattern is the pressure of unstructured time. So on demo, if there's no setup, you just close the chart and went about your day. No big deal. You didn't have that urge to do something about it, right? But when you get on a live account, when you sit down and there's no setup, your mind starts to churn. I can't waste today. What if tomorrow's worse? Or what if this is my only chance this week? Or I don't want to miss any setups. I just want to look at the chart, see if anything's there so I don't miss a setup in case there is something forming, right? Time without direction invites urgency. Urgency invites impulsive action, and impulsive action invites emotional trading. This is why the majority of live accounts are lost on slow, boring days, not the volatile news ones, okay? Very rarely are traders more likely to blow their accounts due to chaos. Typically, it happens because they get worn down by the stillness and boredom, and they take trades to feel productive, to feel worthy, to feel something. On demo, yeah, you can be patient. That's great. On live, patience tends to feel like failure because it's delayed gratification. And to your survival system, delayed gratification is a threat to your survival. Instant gratification means I'm going to grab this food when I see it. I'm going to run from this lion because it's chasing me. If I stall out and don't grab the food, I don't know when I'll find another one. If I don't run from this lion right now and I wait to see what happens, that lion might attack me and kill me, right? So to our brains, when we're building businesses, going to the gym, we understand that delayed gratification is the right thing to do, and that's how we're going to get to where we need to be, okay? We understand that, and we can let delayed gratification play out the way we need to. But in trading, we can't stay patient because that delayed gratification, that patience threatens our survival subconsciously, okay? It threatens our evolutionary instinct. So that is why it's so hard to be patient on a live account and wait for your setups, because the brain would rather take a chance at potentially making money now, even if your setup isn't A plus, than wait 20 minutes for your A plus setup. Okay, this is a biological response. This is your brain doing what it was wired to do. So again, we want to learn how to work with that biology instead of letting it control us. So what does that actually look like when it happens to you guys? Okay, so let me walk you through 3 specific moments so you know exactly what to expect when you make that switch from demo to live. Because understanding the biology is one thing, that's great. I love learning the science behind everything, but being able to recognize it in real time is a completely different skill. And once you are aware of what you need to look for, sometimes it's a lot easier to access those skills. So the first scenario typically happens the night before you start trading live. You've activated your account. Maybe you took a few days off like I've suggested in the past. Maybe you didn't. Either way, it's Sunday night. You're looking at the charts for the week ahead and planning your very first setups on your new live account. And suddenly, out of nowhere, anxiety hits, okay? Not normal pre-trading anxiety nerves, real anxiety. Like your chest feels tight, you can't breathe, you start having intrusive thoughts. What if I blow this account in the first week? What if I can't handle the pressure? What if I freeze up on every setup? What if I work so hard just to prove that I can't actually do it? You haven't done anything wrong yet. You haven't taken a loss. You didn't even place a trade yet, but your nervous system is already activated because the environment has changed. The value has changed. And on a demo account, Sunday night planning felt exciting, like preparation. Like, all right, how much can I get done this week? How much can I accomplish and grow this week? On live, it feels threatening, like this is the calm before the storm, okay? This is called anticipatory anxiety. And what happens during this is your threat detection is firing before there's even a threat because your brain is trying to protect you from potential pain by making you feel it in advance. The second scenario is your first pullback on live, okay? When you were in your first trade, the setup was perfect, your entry was clean, everything's going according to plan. You're sitting there, you're a little nervous, but you're like, okay, all right, let's hold it, let's see what happens. I think I can do this. And then price pulls back. Not dangerously, not even close to your stop, just normal intra-trade movement, okay? On a demo account, you wouldn't have blinked at this, but now, the second your P&L drops, even just the slightest, your body's gonna have a reaction to it. Your stomach's gonna drop like you're on a roller coaster. You're gonna feel heat flood up the back of your neck. Your jaw's gonna clench without even realizing it. Your shoulders tense, your hands move towards your mouth. And now the voice in your head starts saying, get out now, this is going against you, save yourself, like you're gonna lose everything. And logically, you know this is just a pullback. You've seen thousands of pullbacks in your trading, right? And your demo accounts and you're practicing, you know what a pullback looks like. This is textbook price action. That's fine. This is what happens in trading. This is just part of it. This is part of letting your move play out. But your body doesn't care about logic right now, okay? Your body is screaming danger because you're experiencing discomfort while holding something valuable to you. On demo, pullbacks are just data. On live, pullbacks feel like a real threat. This is because your amygdala, your threat detection center, is overriding your logical thinking brain in that moment, and your threat response is taking over your logical brain, turning it offline, removing the ability for you to think logically, and having your emotions take over to protect you completely, okay? And if you close that trade, if you give into that urge, you just taught your nervous system that live trading is dangerous and you need to protect yourself by exiting early. And the third scenario is the slow Tuesday afternoon. It's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. You've been watching the charts for an hour, no setup, just chop, like just a sideways movement that's ugly. You never want to get involved in, right? On demo, it's really easy for you to just close the charts and go about your day. No big deal. But on live, you can't seem to walk away. So now you're sitting there scanning multiple pairs, multiple time frames, looking for anything that might qualify you to take a trade. And your mind starts running. Well, I can't waste today. What if this was my only trade this week? What if tomorrow's worse? Everybody else is probably trading right now. I'm falling behind. I need to do something. There has to be something there. Looks like it's getting ready to take off. Whatever it is, okay? Your brain just starts spewing all this nonsense to you to try and convince you to take a trade. And now it's spewed enough nonsense that you are seeing setups that aren't even there, okay? And you justify entries that don't meet your criteria. It's not perfect, but it's close enough. I'll just use a tighter stop. I'll just take smaller size. I'll manage it closely. It's okay. None of this happens on a demo account because on demo, no setup meant no trade. Simple as that. But on live, the absence of opportunity feels like failure, like you're wasting your account, wasting your potential, like you're not doing enough. This is time pressure, your brain interpreting stillness as inactivity and inactivity as losing ground. And if you take that forced trade, if you enter something that doesn't meet your plan just to feel productive, you just taught your nervous system that emotional discomfort is a valid reason to trade. And what happens there is your striatum, the part of your brain that's responsible for your autopilot and your habit seeking, what happens with that striatum is when you do something to relieve pressure, to relieve anxiety, to relieve anything, bring relief to your emotions, your striatum files that away of, hey, that worked. Next time we're going to do it again, right? So when you start feeling that anxiety build of, hey, I got to find something. What if this is my only window? Everyone else, I'm falling behind right now. I need to do something. And you start seeing steps that aren't there. Your autopilot's going to kick in and be like, last time I felt this way, I did this. And it made the anxiety, it made the pressure go away. So you're going to do it again. And that autopilot's going to kick in. Those habits are going to kick in. This is how the bad habits form, okay? When you give into the discomfort, that is how the bad habits form. When you resist the discomfort, that is how the good habits form, okay? So these three scenarios, the anticipatory anxiety, the pullback panic, the slow day spiral, these are where most traders lose their live accounts. For me personally, I've been caught up in the slow day spiral more times than I like to count. And it's not because I didn't know my strategy, but because I didn't realize when my nervous system had taken over and my emotions were in control, trying to make me feel worthy. Because to me, for a long time in trading, I was using trading as a way to feel good enough, to feel valid, to feel like I was worth something. So I would get on the charts during the slow moments when the day had settled and all the excitement had gone. And when that happened, I was trying to find something to make me feel good about myself again. And that always ended up with me destroying my account because every single time I took a trade to make me feel good, to make me feel like, hey, I'm being productive, I'm being worthy, I'm contributing, I'm doing something good. It wrecked me every single time. And I just remember how crushing, how soul crushing it was to just watch everything I worked so hard for get blown away, all because I wanted to try and feel a little bit better about myself. And instead of doing the healthy thing and going to therapy, going to the gym, doing the healthy activities that really actually help you feel better about yourself, I did the toxic thing by giving into my emotion and my dysregulation. Now, here's what I need you to understand. If you don't solve this, if you keep trying to use trading to prove your worth or push through with discipline and willpower, here's what the next year of your life is going to look like. You'll pass another eval, maybe 2, maybe 3. You'll get funded again. And you'll blow it again. And each time you'll tell yourself it's going to be different. You'll be more careful, more disciplined, more focused, but it won't be different because you are not addressing the actual problem. A year from now, you will be in the same place you are right now, maybe even further behind, because each blown account doesn't just cost you money. It costs you confidence, trust in yourself, the belief that you are actually capable of doing this. And eventually you're going to start wondering, maybe you're just not cut out for this. And maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you should quit. And that would be a tragedy because the problem isn't you. The problem is that no one ever taught you how your nervous system works under pressure. They just told you to keep hustling, keep backtesting, keep grinding, and it never changed anything. But the good news, you can learn. And once you do, everything can change for you. So now let's look at why demo success doesn't predict live success, because the strategy is exactly the same. And it's not that you forgot how to trade. You have the same knowledge in your trading, but it's because your nervous system is operating from a completely different state. When you're on demo, you're calm, you're regulated, you're in that pursuit mode we talked about, that chase that's exciting, and your threat detection is completely quiet and not active. But on live, now you're activated, you're threatened, you're in protection mode, protecting something valuable from yourself, okay? Your dopamine's crashed, your threat detection's screaming, and your body is sending you signals of danger. It's the same strategy, the same knowledge, completely different biology, okay? This is why you can do great on demo accounts. You can be the best trader in the world on demo accounts. Challenges come easily to you, whatever it may be, and then immediately you blow your funded or live account. This is a nervous system issue. The traders who succeed on live accounts are not more disciplined than you. They are not smarter than you. They have just learned how to keep their nervous system regulated when the stakes are real. And I'm about to show you exactly how to do that, okay? Now I'm going to give you a 5-step protocol that bridges the gap between demo and live trading. This is what allows you to bring that same calm, regulated state you had on demo into your live trading. And I want you to use this protocol anytime you recognize yourself in one of those 3 scenarios we talked about earlier. I call it names, okay? NAMES. And it might just save your account if you're able to use it in the moment. The first step is name the sensation out loud. The moment you feel that surge, that spike of urgency, the feeling that never showed up on your demo account, I want you to say this out loud. This is anxiety, this is urgency, this is fear. Not in your head, out loud. Here's why this works. When you name an emotion, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the logical thinking part of your brain that handles demo trading so well. And there's research on this. You can look into it more if you want. It's called affect labeling. When you put a label on what you're feeling, it reduces the intensity of that emotion by up to 50%. It also creates distance between you and the sensations you're having. So instead of I am terrified, it becomes I'm noticing fear. One of those makes you fuse with the emotion. The other makes you an observer of the emotion. And when you're the observer, you have choice, just like you did on demo. The second step is acknowledging the state change, okay? So now again, you're going to say out loud, my nervous system has shifted from demo mode to live mode. This is protection mode activating. This is normal. This doesn't mean I can't trade live. What this does is this removes shame, okay? Most traders, when they feel this intensity on live, they think, what's wrong with me? I could do this on demo. Why can't I do it now? I'm so weak. That shame response makes the activation worse because now you're dealing with this threat response and self-judgment. So when you acknowledge it as a state change, you are contextualizing it, okay? You're saying this is predictable biology. This is normal. This is my brain doing what it was designed to do. And that context dims the emotional intensity almost immediately. And the third step is going to be moving your body to signal safety, okay? This is where we start working directly with your body to bring it back to a state it was in during demo trading, okay? So you're going to want to deliberately drop your shoulders. Just let them fall, okay? We hold enormous tension in our shoulders when we're in threat mode, and that tension doesn't exist on demo trading, okay? When you consciously drop your shoulders, what you're doing is you're sending a signal to your nervous system that the threat is passing, we're ready to start regulating, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to plant your feet firmly on the ground. Push them into the ground as hard as you can. Feel the weight of your body in your chair. Feel your feet on the floor. This is an exercise called grounding, and it works because it brings your body into the present moment. It breaks that automatic loop we were talking about, okay? Because the brain cannot focus on emotions and physical senses at the same time, so we want to activate our physical senses by focusing on them, okay? And when you are activated on live trading like this, your mind is in the future. You're catastrophizing. You're worrying about every candle tick. Grounding is going to pull you back to right now. And right now you are safe. There is nothing threatening you physically, just like you were on demo. The step 4 is exhale to activate your calm response. With step 4, we want to directly activate your parasympathetic nervous system. This is the opposite of your sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight. This is what put you into this emotional trading state you're at. The parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest, your calm and balanced nervous system. It's the exact opposite of your fight or flight, okay? This is the state of mind you're in when you are trading on demo. So what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in normally through your nose for 4 seconds. Then I want you to exhale slowly through your mouth like you're blowing through a straw for 6 seconds, okay? The exhale always needs to be longer than inhale. That is the key to doing this breathing exercise, okay? I want you to do this 3 times in a row. When you extend your exhale, you stimulate your vagus nerve, okay? And your vagus nerve is the part of your nervous system that calms your body down. It can be stimulated through 3 different ways, typically through holding an ice cube, humming, or deep breathing. I like deep breathing best personally, but if you can do all 3 of those things, then that will help bring your body back to a calm state. Because when you activate your vagus nerve, it tells your body, we're not in danger, we can rest, we can regulate, everything's okay? It's going to slow your heart rate, it's going to lower your blood pressure, and it's going to shift blood flow back to your logical thinking brain. This step in the exercise is about bringing your logical thinking brain back online so you can make a choice instead of reacting to the markets, okay? And step 5, the final step, is going to be to sit still for 90 seconds. This is the hardest and most important step of the entire exercise. For 90 seconds, I want you to do absolutely nothing. Do not touch your trade. Do not adjust your stop. Do not close anything. Do not open a new trade. Don't do anything. Don't move. Just sit there, okay? What's going to happen is you're going to get this urge. The urge is going to rise. It's going to get stronger and it's going to feel unbearable, okay? This is the feeling that never existed on your demo trading. Let it be there though. Let it exist, okay? Don't fight it. Don't try to make it go away. Just observe it like you're watching a wave in the ocean, okay? The urge is going to peak, okay? And at some point in those 90 seconds, it is going to hit its maximum intensity. And this is where most traders break because it feels like it's going to keep getting worse forever, but it won't. Urges rise and peak and then fall just like a wave does, okay? And every time you give into the urge at the peak, the urges get stronger and stronger and more intense. But every time you let them peak and fall on their own, they get less and less intense until they're eventually just a little ripple that you don't even notice anymore. And if you can sit still through this peak, the urge will decline on its own. All you have to do is just don't act on it. And your nervous system is going to learn, oh, we can sit through this discomfort and still survive it. This is temporary. We can trade the same way live as we traded on demo if we don't give in to this discomfort, if we just notice it and let it pass. So remember the names exercise next time you start panicking on your live account. You want to name it, acknowledge it, move your body, exhale, and sit still. And every single time you use this protocol, you train your nervous system to stay regulated when the stakes are real, okay? This is how you train your body to work with your biology and not against it. So before we wrap up, I want to give you one more tool. Most traders blow their accounts because the state they were already in before they traded. So every morning before you open your charts, I want you to score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on these 6 things: your emotional stability, your physical tension, intrusive thoughts, impulsivity, balance, and mental clarity. Add up your total, and if you're above 42 out of 60, you are regulated enough to trade. And if you're below 35, you are not in a state of mind to trade today. And then I want you to ask yourself one more question. If you are on your demo account right now, would you take this trade? And if the answer is no, don't take the live trade either, okay? When you start the day dysregulated, those 3 scenarios we talked about earlier are going to hit so much harder that anticipatory anxiety is going to get worse, the pullback panic is going to be stronger, and the slow day spirals will be impossible to resist. This audit isn't about being perfect. It's about knowing when your nervous system needs rest instead of pressure. Guys, don't worry. The names, exercises, and the daily audit, I've put them in the show notes below. Go ahead and save this episode so you can come back to it when you need them. They will always be there. But here's what I want you to imagine right now. 6 months from now, you open your chart on a Monday morning, you see a setup, you check your criteria, and it qualifies, and you're able to enter the trade without hesitation, without second guessing. If price pulls back, you don't flinch because you know it's normal movement, and you let the trade run, hitting your target, closing it, moving on with your day. No drama, no panic, no spiral, just clean, calm execution. That is what trading from a regulated nervous system looks like, okay? That's what's possible when you stop trying to discipline your way through a biology problem and start using the tools that actually work with how your brain is built. And if you learn how to keep your nervous system regulated, you will be able to trade a live account the same way you can trade a demo account. And once you can do that, everything changes. All right, so here are your action steps for the next week. Start tracking the difference between how you feel on demo versus how you feel on live. Get a notebook and write it down. What physical sensations show up on live that didn't show up on demo? What thoughts show up on live that didn't show up on demo? What urges show up on live that didn't show up on demo? And which of these 3 scenarios do you experience, okay? Once you have notated all of that, I want you to practice the names exercise before it matters. Practice it when you're calm so you know how to use it when you're activated, okay? Because bringing awareness to all of this is the first step. And you can't bridge the gap between demo and live if you don't know what the gap actually is. And once you see it, once you recognize when your nervous system has shifted, you can bring choice to yourself. You can use that names exercise to bring yourself back to regulation. You can choose to trade from the same state you had on demo instead of the activated state that blows your account. And trading live is about learning how to bring the same regulated nervous system you had on demo into the live environment. And those two exercises we went over today will help you bridge that gap to be able to do this a little bit easier, okay? Guys, this is the Mental Edge Trading Psychology Podcast. I'm Sarah. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.